When the lights go out for good and, I mean all of them, the people who survive, won't be the ones with the biggest stockpile of canned beans or the fanciest bug-out bag. They'll be the ones who understood that in a world stripped of infrastructure, certain pieces of technology become more valuable than gold, more critical than water, and more dangerous to own than a loaded weapon. And here's the thing that should terrify you. There are 3 specific technologies that governments, corporations, and even your well-meaning neighbors don't want you to have access to. Not because they're illegal, though some jurisdictions are working on that, but because these tools represent true independence in a dependent world. They're the difference between being a survivor and being a statistic. Let me paint you a picture of what I'm talking about. It's month 3 after the grid collapses. Doesn't matter if it's an EMP, a cyberattack, or economic implosion, the result is the same. No electricity, no internet, no supply chains. The grocery stores were picked clean in 72 hours. Your neighbors have formed desperate alliances or desperate rivalries, and the veneer of civilization has peeled away like old paint. In this moment, you're going to realize something profound and horrifying. Modern survival isn't about roughing it in the woods with a bow and arrow. It's about maintaining technological advantage when everyone else has been thrust back into the dark ages. The people who prepared aren't just stocked up, they're powered up, and that makes all the difference. The first technology on this blacklist is portable solar power systems with lithium battery banks. Not the little camping panels you see advertised, but serious multi-panel arrays with proper charge controllers and deep cycle battery storage. Here's why this matters from a pure physics standpoint. Energy is the foundation of everything. Your ability to preserve food, purify water, communicate, and maintain security all stem from having electrical power when no one else does. A proper solar setup, we're talking 300 to 500 watts of panels minimum. Paired with a 2000 watt-hour battery bank gives you the ability to run essential devices indefinitely. But here's what they do tell you in the marketing materials. Governments track bulk purchases of these systems. Utility companies lobby against them. HOAs ban them. Why? Because energy independence is real independence, and dependent populations are controllable populations. The science here is brutal in its simplicity. The sun provides approximately 1 kilowatt of energy per square meter at peak hours. With modern monocrystalline panels running at 20% efficiency, you're harvesting 200 watts per square meter. Connect 4 panels together, and you're generating enough power to run communication devices, charge batteries, operate water filtration systems, and maintain refrigeration for medications or food preservation. In a collapsed world, this isn't luxury, it's the difference between maintaining health and watching your family succumb to preventable diseases. The psychological edge this provides cannot be overstated. While everyone else descends into medieval conditions within weeks, you maintain a technological foothold that allows planning, preparation, and adaptation rather than mere reaction and desperation. The second blacklisted technology is even more controversial. Personal water purification systems based on reverse osmosis or UV sterilization that require municipal infrastructure. I'm not talking about those little backpacking filters that remove sediment. I'm talking about systems that can take contaminated surface water, river water, rainwater, even questionable groundwater, and render it completely pathogen-free through either membrane filtration or ultraviolet radiation. The chemistry and biology here are straightforward. Most waterborne pathogens that will kill you range from 0.2 to 10 microns in size. A proper reverse osmosis system filters down to 0.0001 microns. UV sterilization systems damage the DNA of bacteria, viruses, and protozoa at a wavelength of 254 nanometers, making them incapable of reproduction. Why is this on the blacklist? Because water control is population control. Throughout history, whoever controls the water supply controls the population. Municipal water systems, bottled water corporations, government agencies, they all benefit from your dependence on their infrastructure. A person with the ability to create unlimited clean water from any source is no longer beholden to that system. In a collapse scenario, this technology becomes the ultimate survival equalizer. While communities tear themselves apart fighting over contaminated water sources or waiting for FEMA trucks that may never come, you're processing 50 gallons a day from the creek behind your house. The mortality rate from waterborne illness in post-disaster scenarios historically ranges from 15 to 40%. You've just opted out of that lottery entirely. The psychological security of knowing your family won't die from cholera, dysentery, or cryptosporidium allows you to focus on other survival priorities while your neighbors are consumed by the most basic biological need. The third technology might surprise you because it seems so innocuous. Mesh networking, communication devices that operate independently of cellular towers and internet infrastructure. These are radio systems operating on licensed ham frequencies, others on unlicensed bands that create peer-to-peer communication networks without requiring any centralized infrastructure. The physics is elegant. Radio waves propagate through space at the speed of light. And with proper antenna design and sufficient power, you can communicate across dozens of miles without touching a cell tower or internet backbone. Modern encrypted mesh networks can create entire communication webs where each device acts as both transmitter and repeater, extending range exponentially. Here's why this terrifies the control structure. Communication is coordination, and coordination is power. After a collapse, the official narrative will be controlled through emergency broadcast systems and government-controlled media. Your ability to coordinate with other survivors, share information about safe routes or dangerous areas, organize resource sharing, or warn others about threats represents a parallel information network that can't be monitored, censored, or controlled. Various government agencies have pushed for licensing requirements, encryption restrictions, and power limitations on these devices precisely because widespread adoption would create communication resilience that operates outside official channels. In practical terms, imagine being able to coordinate with trusted individuals across your entire region while the rest of the population operates in an information vacuum, vulnerable to misinformation, panic, and manipulation. Now here's where we need to address the brutal psychology of all this. Having these technologies doesn't just give you practical advantages, it fundamentally changes your mental state in a crisis. Human beings under extreme stress make catastrophic decisions. The research is clear. When people feel helpless and dependent, they become reactive, emotional, and prone to group panic. But when you have power, clean water, and communication, when you have agency, your prefrontal cortex stays engaged. You can plan, you can strategize, you can make rational decisions while everyone around you succumbs to desperation. This isn't about being superior. It's about understanding that survival is 90% mental and 10% physical. And having the tools to maintain your mental edge is what separates the survivor from the victim. The timing of acquiring these technologies matters desperately. After a crisis, they become unavailable or prohibitively expensive. During the early stages of collapse, having them marks you as a target. The only viable window is now, while society still functions, while you can acquire, test, and master these systems without drawing attention or competition. The final truth they don't want you to accept is this: preparation isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Every civilization that's ever existed has eventually collapsed. The question isn't if, but when. And when that moment comes, the technologies you've assembled in secret, tested in private, and mastered in peace will determine whether your name appears in the survivor column or becomes just another statistic in the greatest crisis humanity will face. The blacklist exists because these three technologies represent something terrifying to any power structure: genuine independence. And independence, in a dependent world, is the most dangerous thing you can possess. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Sonnet 4.5